I'm Harrison Graham. We kick off our Bears Now mailbag with Cooper saying, my mom passed a few days ago and this has helped. I wanted to address this one off the top. Number one, terribly sorry to hear that, dude. That freaking sucks. Not looking forward to the day that I face that, unless I go first, which does happen in life sometimes. But hopefully we've provided some laughs. Some other Bears fans have been, taking your mind off things. And DMs are always open, Cooper, at HGramNFL. You can hit me up anytime. Can't promise I'll get right back to you, but I will get to you eventually. And hang in there, man. I hope you got other family member that you can lean on as well. So bear down, buddy. All right, we got Homeless Bears. Who are some teams that could trade for DJ Moore? So obviously we've talked about trading DJ being a possibility, clearing up $16.5 million. Some Bears fans are in favor of it. Some Bears fans want to keep him. Some are on the fence. They're like, I could go either way. Well, I think these are some teams that make sense for different reasons. I think Buffalo, is DJ a true number one? Probably not, but he might be their number one. And they certainly need more weapons for Josh Allen. I actually like him in a Joe Brady offense a lot, too. I think that would be a good fit. He does a lot of creative things, so like that fit. The Raiders, regardless of Max, by the way, I think they could just use DJ Moore, whether it's in a Maxx Crosby trade or not, get Fernando Mendoza another weapon. The Patriots, ton of cap space. They could use some upgrades at receiver as well for Drake May. The New York Jets, not because Justin Fields is there, although some of you guys probably think that's why I'm saying that. Their receiver room sucks outside of Garrett Wilson. So I think DJ Moore is like kind of an ideal number two when you have a true number one, which I think Garrett Wilson is. So regardless who their quarterback is, I like that fit. And then the Titans, get Cam Ward another weapon. Calvin Ridley might get cut. They might look to save some money there. They have cap space, so they could absorb DJ's contract as well and help out Cam Ward. The question is, will the Bears trade DJ? Will they trade DJ Moore? Type Y for yes or type in for no. Do you think he gets traded? Do you think he doesn't? I think it's a coin flip. I think there's a decent chance he does. I think they could restructure him. I don't think he'll play under his current cap hit of $28.5 million for the Bears, so something will happen, I would think. Isaac Glass, use our third-round pick this year and get Brennan Thompson. Wide receiver and return man, runs a sub-4.3 40-yard dash. Yeah, he's made his way into my NFL draft algorithm. I've been seeing some clips of him. He can burn, man. He can take a top off of defense. He can do some of the gadgety stuff as well. And, yeah, if he's a reliable returner in terms of catching the football consistently, I would be on board with a guy like that. I don't know if I want to take a receiver in the third round, but I also don't think he's falling to day three. So if you take him in the third, it probably means your first two picks address defense and you address some other needs in free agency as well. But he'd be fun on this team. All right, Scepter trade idea. Bears trade Tyson Bagent to the Cardinals for Budda Baker. I don't know if Arizona would do that. I know it's reported that they're interested in Bagent. And to be honest, this might sound crazy. I don't know if the Bears would do it. Not because they don't like Budda Baker, but Budda Baker almost makes $20 million per year. Do they want to bring on that big of a contract at safety? Clearly a one-for-one. This team right now needs Budda Baker more than Tyson Bagent. But from a financial perspective, I don't know if they would do that. I've mentioned Minkah Fitzpatrick, who would cost $15.6 million, but he's in the final year of his deal. You could extend him and lower that number. Budda Baker just signed an extension last year, I think. So I don't know how much flexibility is built into that contract. I don't think Bagent's getting moved. I think the Bears would want a day two pick, and I don't think a team would give up a day two pick. So I think he's here at least one more year, and maybe next year that becomes a more realistic possibility that Tyson Bagent could get moved. Okay, today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Shoot your shot with Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. That's right. Prize Picks is now giving you $50 in lineups when you play and sign up and play your first $5. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every dime, and every board that much more exciting. So don't miss the chance to get started on America's #1 app for sports picks. Football is in the rearview mirror, but I'm just getting started on Prize Picks. Basketball is rolling along. Baseball is going to be here very soon. You got season-long stat projections there. Just pick more or less on stat projections available from Prize Picks, regardless of sport, and you're good to go. Little hoops action I had on Thursday. I took more on Anthony Simons made 3-pointers. Little goblin play there, and then less on Al Horford points, rebounds, assists. If you're watching this after Thursday, hopefully I won some money, $20 to win $38. That's an example of what a PrizePicks lineup looks like. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use our code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay, Jeff Volk, 98-28. I'm still on the sign Trey Hendrickson wagon, but I'm getting warmer on Crosby. Which do you think they choose? Well, they may not get either. I mean, that's possible based on what they want or if other teams offer more, etc. And who knows? Maybe they don't want either guy. I don't know. They may have a different approach to how they're trying to build that defensive line. Maybe they invest more in defensive tackle. Who knows? What would I personally do? The question for me is simple. What's a Hendrickson contract going to cost you, especially in guaranteed money, and how much do you have to give up in a Crosby trade? If you're not just going crazy on the pick capital, I think Crosby gives you a better chance to be more impactful for longer. But if you can get Hendrickson on a reasonable 2-year type of contract where you're not tied down to him for very long and for crazy money, then I think that's a good option as well. So like most of these questions, what does the money look like? What does the commitment look like in terms of, for Crosby, draft picks and a potential trade? Iceman Productions. If Edmunds leaves, could we draft C.J. Allen in the first? Yeah, absolutely. I think he's in the mix to be the pick at 25. Now, I think in a perfect world, defensive tackle to me in round 1, if all things are equal, I would go D-tack in round 1. Why? There's not a lot of free agent options out there. You could get John Franklin Myers, but I think he's going to cost a lot because he's by far the best pass-rushing defensive tackle. Maybe there's a trade out there that becomes available at defensive tackle that I'm not foreseeing. There's more access to edge rushers before the draft. So I think if you attack edge and a couple other positions in free agency, D-tackle in round 1 is the way I would go. But I think linebacker or safety is another position you could go, or edge rusher, in the first round, depending on what happens leading into the draft. Subscribe to the channel. We got free Bears content all offseason long. We're talking daily news updates, rumors, trade buzz, mock drafts, free agency is around the corner, NFL Combine next week. We're going to have a ton of content, boots on the ground in Indy for Chat Sports. I won't be there personally, but we'll have plenty of people who are, and we'll have content from that. So lock us in and don't go anywhere. All right, Cameron, what would it take to move into the top 10 in the draft? Probably your first next year in addition to your first this year, and maybe another piece, like a player or maybe a third-round pick. I explored on another video, I think it was a mailbag as well, to start a mailbag, Caleb Downs. How far would he have to fall? I think to move up to 10 or 11, if he was still there, you're talking about 25 this year, 25th pick, your first next year, and maybe something else. So it would cost a lot. It's not going to be cheap. So I think the right player would have to fall for you to consider that. If David Bailey started slipping, if Caleb Downs started slipping, I don't know who all would be on the Bears list at the top of this draft of hey, if that guy gets to this spot, we're making a phone call. But those are a couple of names that come to mind. DC Viper, kind of a wild trade question, but what about a trade for Garrett Wilson from the Jets? That is a wild question because you don't really need receivers. I mean, who are you dumping? Are you just getting rid of DJ Moore and bringing in Garrett Wilson? So you're going to have a $30 million Garrett Wilson. You're going to have Luther Burden and Rome Odunze. It'd be fun, but it's just not necessary, in my opinion. So I don't think that's a guy you would go get. I think you would elevate Rome and Luther, and you would add a complimentary piece if you move on from DJ Moore. That's what I think would happen. Okay, who is your favorite Bear of all time? Who is it? Is it Walter Payton? Is it Devin Hester? Is it Brian Urlacher? Is it Caleb Williams? Who is it? Let me know. Devon, what are your thoughts about Mike Washington Jr. from Arkansas? He's a fun player. I like him. I don't know where he's going to go in the draft. Colin, I don't know if you want to hop on real quick and give your thoughts on him as a player and maybe the range for him in a concise manner. But is he a fourth-round guy. I like the way he runs. I don't think he's going to give you a ton in the passing game, but he's a big physical runner.
I mean, he's certainly and again, just my opinion. Obviously, Jeremiah Love's going to be a first-round guy. Jadarian Price, I just expect him to go early day 2. I think Jonah Coleman probably makes it on day 2, although I'm not the highest on him. I think he's probably a round 3 guy. After that, Mike Washington absolutely is in consideration for RB4, which again could land him in round 4. Ironically, he could be a sneaky day 3 guy if some team really falls in love with him, although he's probably just one of those, kind of similar to where it was last year where you had guys like Cam Scadaboo, Bashal Toot, I know went in the top of day 3 last year. I think that's kind of the range that he lands in, but, I mean, you nailed it. I mean, he is built like an NFL running back. He's got the size, the speed. I think he's going to translate and play on Sundays for, some kind of running back committee.
All right, I like it. We'll see if the Bears could have some interest there in Mike Washington. Got time for a few more here. Wasim, do you think the Bears take Kayden Proctor? I think a mock draft just dropped. I'm not sure whose it was, where the Bears took Proctor at 25. I wouldn't rule it out. I think left tackle is more in play in round 1 than we think. The Bears know the history of torn patellar tendons. You'd rather have a torn ACL. It's not an easy injury to come back from. The Chargers, I promise you, have concerns about Rashawn Slater. So, I think Kayden Proctor, if they really loved him, big, physical, athletic. Monroe Freeling, I think, is a pretty interesting guy. I just saw he has 35-inch arms, and he can move. I love Ozzie Trapillo, but I think a guy like that might actually be an upgrade. And who knows? When Ozzie's healthy, figure that out down the road. Maybe you move someone into guard, or maybe he becomes a trade piece. The NFL's tough sometimes, right? Things could change quickly. So I would not rule out a tackle in round 1. Ideally, you go elsewhere. But if there's a player they love and think can plug and play at left tackle and play at a high level, I think that's something the Bears would consider. All right, we got Jason. Final question here. Better free agent linebacker fit for the Bears, Nakobe Dean or Leo Chenal? If you tell me both are fully healthy, I'll take Nakobe Dean. Because he's a really good athlete. Chenal's athletic as well, but he was never a full-time player for the Chiefs. He was kind of like a situational backer. His role increased over time, but it's not like his snap share lived at 100%. Nakobe Dean had a degenerative knee issue coming into the pros. He's been banged up some, so I don't know what type of contract you'd be giving him. I probably would be nervous giving him more than 2 years of guaranteed money. But yeah, I do think those are 2 names that the Bears could circle the wagons on if the price is right. Appreciate all of your questions. If you have more, you know where to find me. At HGramNFL on Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok. Give me a follow there. Trying to get to 5,000 followers. I'm also on Facebook. We're just getting started over there. Got a couple hundred followers, but I know a lot of you guys use Facebook as well. If you search Harrison Graham Chat Sports within the app, you'll find my page. And then also Facebook.com/HGramNFL. Please give me a follow all across social media. I would greatly appreciate it.